Welcome everyone to Spark Festival 2025. This is the 10th year of Spark. I've been presenting at Spark for 4 years now, and this is my 6th event. And I hope you enjoy today's topic, which is resilient minds, navigating the startup rollercoaster. And so I'd like to start with an acknowledgement of country. So I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. So my name's Roy Kwan. I'm a business and a mindset coach. And I was born in a small country town in Australia called Cooma, population of 8,000, between Canberra and the Snowy Mountains. And my mom used to love telling this joke. The best thing about having all her kids born in Cooma Hospital is that she didn't have to worry about a baby mix-up by the nurses. Because there were no Asian babies within a 100-kilometer radius. It's like, this baby doesn't look like me. I'm the only Chinese mom here, it must be mine. The closest would be Canberra. If I were to level with you though, growing up in Cooma was very tough for me. So other than my brother and my sisters, I was the only Chinese kid at school. And as a result of this, I experienced a lot of bullying and teasing. Kids I didn't know would come up to me and pull their eyes back and call me Ching Chong Chinaman. And I had a bully who would beat me up and pull my pants down. But the worst thing he'll do, he'll tell other kids not to be my friend. And as a result of this, I spent a lot of my recess, my lunch breaks, sitting by myself, feeling isolated, feeling not good enough, feeling like I didn't belong, and seeing myself as the ugly duckling. My biggest breakthrough came when my mom sent me to Singapore to study for 1 year and 3 years in Hong Kong. And as you can imagine, in those countries, I didn't look different. All the other kids, black hair, brown eyes, Asian, though I was still different, but it was a cool difference. Because I was from Australia, other kids would come to befriend me because they wanted to improve their English. But I found that the friends who became my lifelong friends didn't like me because of where I was from. They liked me for who I am. And as a result of this, I was able to learn to become confident, friendly, talkative. And when I went back to Australia, it meant that I was able to stand up to the bullies, which meant that I got into a lot of fights in high school. And this was before I did jiu-jitsu or karate, Muay Thai. And back then, after a fight, I'll be feeling bruised, sore, hurt. But what was interesting was, after the fight, all these other kids would come and congratulate me because they hated the bully too. And what was more important was I learned how to make friends. And as a result of this, I was able to make friends and build a healthy and balanced life for myself. I have a loving wife of 12 years. I have a beautiful 9-year-old daughter. I have a successful corporate consulting career. And I have 5 investment properties. And I got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And there's one question which drives me. And that question is, what if? What if I wasn't able to break out of my old self to become who I am today? What if I was stuck being the boy who had no confidence, who didn't feel good enough, who didn't have any friends? And when I think of that boy, I think of another classmate of mine in Hong Kong, and he didn't have any friends. Other kids would jump out of the way to avoid him because he had bad breath and dandruff. And because I knew what it was like to not have friends, I made an effort to befriend him. When no one wanted him as part of a group project, I'll ask him to join mine. When he moved to a different class, I would look for him during recess to give him games of chess. And when I came back to Australia, I would message him on ICQ, which is a very old version of Messenger. Unfortunately, I lost contact with him. And a few years later, I found out from friends that he passed away from suicide. And had I known back then what I know today around mindset, I could have absolutely have helped him. And that's why it's my mission to help anyone, anywhere in the world, to heal their wounds from the past so that they can live their lives to their full potential. And that, in turn, enables me to live my life to my full potential. So if you know anyone who's in a very difficult space, going through a difficult time, just remember in Australia we have excellent services to help people in their times of crisis. There's Lifeline, Beyond Blue, Men's Line, Suicide Callback Line, Kids Helpline, Headspace, Blue Knot for complex PTSD, and Cure Life for people of different sexual orientations. And the most important thing to remember is that you are important and people do care about you. And that is my why. So a bit more about myself and my qualifications. So I'm a certified trainer in neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a certified master practitioner in advanced matrix therapies. And I'm also certified practitioners in timeline therapy and hypnotherapy. Neuro-linguistic programming is the language of the mind and how we communicate to ourselves and others. And by changing our negative self-talk, we can make rapid changes to our state of mind, which drives our behaviors, our decisions, and ultimately the results we achieve in our life. In addition to mindset coaching, I've spent a lot of years working as a business consultant and business coach. So I've spent 13 years, more than 13 years in corporate, doing consulting for QBE, Allianz, NAB, Ubank, even Coca-Cola. And 5 years doing business coaching for small, medium-sized enterprises as well as startups. And I can tell you, in the 5 years I coached small businesses, I've learned more about business than the 13 years I spent in corporate. Here's a testimonial from one of my clients.
I stepped into my first ever executive position at, I think I was 27 years old. I was a young woman now in senior leadership. I have a health background and not a business background. So I felt like a fish out of water. I was terrified. I was terrified, but I was committed. I loved the organization that I worked with, what they stood for. I had really great ideas, and I just didn't really know how to execute them, which is where coaching helped me. So I reached out to Roy. We were able to set some goals and start to really chip away at some of the longer form work, which was amazing. So coaching enabled me to be able to represent myself with confidence. It was a really validating experience for me. So I left each and every session feeling like I knew some things about some stuff. I felt like I left coaching with clear plans and then untapped guidance and support as well. So Roy's been someone that I've been able to reach out to in periods of need, and he has continued to support me in what my ambitions have been, and the support has been unwavering, which is really, really great to feel. The results have been really both tangible and intangible. So first, the result of actually obtaining and sustaining the job. I was able to take the organization through some pretty significant periods of change. We saw growth in revenue and operational outputs. We retained the teams that we were working with, and I've been able to secure employment in other senior leadership roles outside that position too, which has been all very tangible. The intangible stuff is the feeling of confidence and knowing that I've been able to walk into rooms where I'm surrounded by typically very intelligent people with probably decades of more experience than me, almost always older, and feel like I have a seat at the table. And not only do I have that seat at the table, but I'm not an imposter in that seat. And I think that's really changed the way that I've held myself as a leader, and completely changed the way that I've been able to connect with others in that space. I think the best things about coaching and being coached by Roy specifically is there's an air of can-do attitude to it. You just vibrant. There's always a big smile on the other end of the screen. No problem is too large. And when the problems feel really big, we're in it together. And that's really important, particularly in a world like ours. It's offered a space to be reflective. It's allowed me to make mistakes and learn from them. And it's allowed me to, safely, critically analyze the way that I work and the stuff that I would like to achieve, and then start to work through the steps of those plans pragmatically. And then also with empathy as well. I think that's been an unintended side effect of all this. So yeah, be coached by Roy. It's great.
And you're going to be coached by me today, and I hope you leave this session with takeaways to feel calm and confident. And I've got one more testimonial from Anne-Marie Elias, who is actually the board member for Spark Festival and the founder of Prime Life Partners.
Hi, my name's Anne-Marie Elias, and I'm happy to be here to give a testimonial about Roy Kwan's work. And I met Roy a few years ago through a friend who he also helped. And it was at a time that my life was just all over the place. I wasn't working full time. My mum had passed away. I'd had 3 years of my mum, my dad, and 3 of my closest friends passing away. And, I've always been the mother, raising my kids as a sole parent, and then looking after my parents. So it was just, I was lost. I felt really, really lost. And it was amazing, really, because we didn't just talk, we did some meditation work, we talked about every aspect of life, and it just put me on a more positive direction. So rather than being pulled back into the past, I really was able to step forward into the future. That, I'm older, so I know all of these things, but you still can't do it on your own when you're in a fog. And so, from this place of fogginess and sadness and anxiety and confusion, I moved through to a place of, greater awareness, more confidence, and, taking the time to address the things that I needed to address. So, I went to see a psychiatrist. I got diagnosed with ADHD and severe anxiety, so, got treated for that. But I'm not really a medication person, so I really don't like taking a lot of things. So, the therapy, the coaching, I wouldn't call it therapy. I don't feel comfortable calling it that because it's so much more than that. It's actually life coaching, if you like. That's how I would describe it. If you're lacking direction, if you don't know how to lift yourself out of a really difficult situation, or, when you're in that space where you just feel lost, Roy is the person that can help you navigate what has been, but more importantly, set you on a better direction to start focusing on the future. So thank you, Roy. I'm very grateful. This is a few years on. This year has been huge. I accepted a whole lot of things about my work life, and I started applying for a PhD. So I'm just waiting on the results for that. But again, I would never have thought a few years ago that I would have been sitting here telling you that I've applied for a PhD, and no less in the School of Business. So, I had real issues with mathematics my whole life, but I love data, so this is a big surprise to me. But yeah, these are the things that happen when you deal with your past and you are able to step into the future. It gives you clarity to know, what to let go of, and then that allows new things to come in. So I'm very grateful for that.
And I'm very grateful for my client testimonials and being able to inspire them. For Annie, going from ADHD to PhD. And not only do my clients I inspire my clients, they inspire me. And so after speaking with Annie, I have decided to do a PhD or professional doctorate. Cool. And so let's talk about emotional triggers. I'll start with a story. I love to teach through stories. And so 13 years ago, I was still dating my wife-to-be. So she was my girlfriend at that time. And I had this spontaneous idea to rent a tandem bicycle, a bicycle with 2 seats at Bicentennial Park. And I got on in the front and she at the back. And the first thing we did was we went down this steep hill. And as we were going down this steep hill, I noticed a big pole in front of me. And so I was trying to decide, should I turn left or right? Left or right, 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 crash! Smashed straight into the pole. And this was before I did any work on my mindset. And back then I had this critical voice in my mind which would question every decision that I would make. Another example would be installing a television on one of the walls in my investment properties. Or spend the whole day just feeling bad about the TV because I'll think it's too high. And now it's too late. The holes have been drilled and it's going to be a huge trouble to bring it down, and it's not perfect. Even though it's an investment property and it's probably better to be higher up so that tenants don't bump into it. But everything, like small things, big things, I'll spend a lot of time questioning myself. And it wasn't until my own mindset coach pointed out to me that this critical voice in my mind didn't belong to me. Did I realize that it belonged to my mum? And when I was able to switch off that voice, I was able to do so much more in my life. How many of you have heard of Bruce Lee? Yeah? So for those who don't know Bruce Lee, he was a very famous martial artist from Hong Kong. And when he was at his prime, all these martial artists will come and ask Bruce Lee to teach them. So there'll be karate champions, Muay Thai champions, kickboxing champions. And Bruce Lee would turn them away. He would say, I can't teach you because your cup is full. First, empty your cup, and then you can learn. So for today's workshop, what I'd love you to do is to be able to switch off your critical voice and empty your cup so that you can learn. And one powerful thing to learn when it comes to understanding how our minds work is to understand the Macy's development period. So the first period is the imprint period, between the ages of 0 to 7. When we're that young, we don't have any filters. So anything that's said to us or happens to us, anything we observe, we accept as the truth. And sometimes that could lead to limiting beliefs or negative emotional patterns, which stick with us for the rest of our lives or until we achieve a breakthrough. 7 to 14 is the modeling period. This is where we start to have our heroes. We start modeling and taking on other people's behaviors and patterns. And the socialization period is from 14 to 21. This is where the critical factor is fully formed. This is where we become the rebellious teenager. And the reason, the purpose of the critical factor is for protection as we get out into the greater world. So here's a question to reflect on. What is the most powerful thing to unlearn from school? What is the most powerful thing to unlearn from school? And I would love your answers. So if you've already heard this question before and you've heard me give the answer, hold that answer in and let other people have a go. Yes, Emmanuel?
Programming.
Programming? Yes.
Not like actual programming, but what you've been programmed into.
Yes, what you've been programmed into. And what is the most powerful programming to let go of, which we've learned from school? Especially in the world of startups or career.
Get a job.
Get a job. Yes, it's related. Any other guesses?
Accepting facts as facts.
Accepting facts as facts. Very good. Anything else?
More theoretical knowledge.
More theoretical knowledge, yes.
The idea that you've got to pick a job or a career where some things haven't even been imagined yet.
Absolutely, the idea of having to pick a job when things haven't been fully imagined yet. These are all powerful things to unlearn from school. So I'm waiting for one more.
Comparing with others.
Pardon?
Competing
with others, yes. It's related to that.
Get A grade.
Get a grade. A grade, yes. Getting an A grade.
Success and failure.
Success and failure. So the most powerful thing to unlearn from school is that making mistakes is a bad thing. Failure is a terrible thing. So you think about the school grading system. 50% is a pass, 100% is perfect. In real life, that's not always possible. For example, when you're applying for a job, if you've applied for 100 jobs, and you've got one offer, that's still a success. But if you stick to the old school mentality, you've been rejected 99 times. That's not even close to 50%. Or you probably wouldn't even get to 99 applications because you would have given up at 20, right? Or if you're starting a business and you reach out to 20 of your ideal target market, and only one person signed up for your product, for your services, that's still a success. You've got a proof of concept which you can scale and grow as a business. But again, if you're stuck in the old school mentality that you have to get 50% or you have to get 100%, then it's easy to second guess yourself. It's easy to lose confidence. So the most powerful thing to unlearn from school is that making mistakes or rejection is a bad thing. There's no failure, only feedback. There's no failure, only feedback. Another thing to unlearn from school is how we control or manage our emotions. So often when we're young, we're told to suppress our emotions, to push our emotions down. And the problem with suppressing our emotions, it's like pushing a beach ball underwater. The more you push it down, the more the pressure builds. The more you push it down, the more the pressure builds. The more you push it down, the more the pressure builds until something bumps us, and it could be something inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but the beach ball bursts out of the water. And that's essentially what an angry outburst is when we suppress anger for too long, or a panic attack when we've suppressed fear for too long. And the problem with suppressing our emotions is we're imprisoning ourselves, we're controlling ourselves. And not only is it bad for our mental health, it wreaks havoc on our physical health. And so a healthier approach is to let go of these emotions and be free. And so I'd like you to spend some time doing some self-reflection, which is why I've given all of you pen and paper to jot down your thoughts. So I'd like you to ask yourself, what is it that triggers you? What triggers you emotionally? And what are the negative thought patterns around this? How does your body physically tell you that you're being triggered? What are your anxious actions? And what are the negative outcomes of these actions? So let me share a personal experience. So when I was working as a business improvement consultant for a very large corporation, I had spent months working on a project, and I had the opportunity to present it to the chief marketing officer. And as I was presenting the outcomes of my analysis, I could feel my heart racing. I could feel my cheeks getting flushed, and I could hear myself stuttering. And the negative thought pattern underneath this, was the belief that I wasn't good enough. Who was I to be presenting to the chief marketing officer of this multi-billion company? And the negative outcomes due to my anxious actions, well, I never fully presented my full capacity. Like my manager at that time said this was the best work he'd ever seen me produce, but when it came to crunch time, I couldn't present it as well as I could. The belief that I wasn't good enough stopped me from applying for higher positions. It kept me stuck. So a problem well defined is a problem half solved. So spend a couple of minutes now and reflect on these questions. What triggers you? What are the negative thought patterns around this? How does your body physically tell you that you're being triggered? What are your anxious actions? And what are the negative outcomes due to your anxious actions? So you've all got pen and paper, spend a couple of minutes. Whether it's getting a new job, or starting a business, or growing your business, or improving your relationships, health, it all comes down to our unconscious negative thought patterns. Okay, so the next question is, imagine a young child coming to you with similar problems. What would you tell them? Imagine a young child coming to you with similar problems or similar negative thought patterns. What would you tell them? So, for example, if my 9-year-old daughter came to me and said that she doesn't feel good enough, I'll tell her that she's smart, she's clever, she's beautiful, and I'm proud of her, I love her, and I'll protect her. And so imagine a young child coming to you with similar problems to what you've just written down. What would you say to them? What words of encouragement, positive affirmations would you share with them? And after you've worked them out, or you've written them down, I would like you to turn to the person next to you and share with them what are the positive word of affirmations or encouragement that you would say to the child. If you feel comfortable to do so. No pressure.
Is that the real reason, or is that
Would anyone like to share their answers? Anyone feels brave to share their answers? Yes?
I don't know if this applies to what my trigger is, because my
Mhm.
trigger is bills.
Bills?
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
so I feel like a kid is not going to freak out about that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I could have
Is there something similar? So, exams perhaps? Or money?
Yeah, it's pretty specific to money.
Money, yeah.
Being out of money.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid, I borrowed some money from older kids without any concept of money, and then I spent it on lollies and such. And then later on, these kids came back to me asking for their money. What would you say to me? Because I'm feeling very stressed.
Give them the
Go
lollies.
ask your parents.
Give them more lollies. Yeah. Don't eat them all.
And asking parents is an example of asking for help. Yeah. And so perhaps a child like that could ask for help and find ways to overcome this challenge. I'm sure I'm not the only kid who borrowed money from other kids, and I'm sure there are other people who have challenges when it comes to managing bills. One of the reasons why I asked you to share is for you to realize that you're not alone, and that there are other people who are experiencing their challenges, and that you can ask for help. And I'll be sharing how to release anxiety. And so in order to release anxiety, it's important to understand the mechanisms behind anxiety. A problem well defined is a problem half solved. So the first thing I want you to do is to not think of a pink elephant. So do not think of a pink elephant. Whatever you do, don't think of a pink elephant. Try really hard and not think of a pink elephant. Put all your effort into not thinking of a pink elephant. Concentrate really hard on not thinking of a pink elephant.
It's making us think of a pink elephant.
That's hypnosis, right?
So how many of you briefly thought of an animal? Yeah? Possibly an elephant? Maybe a blue elephant or a purple elephant because you wanted to counter what I was saying. The problem with the unconscious mind is it's really bad at processing negatives. When you tell yourself not to think of a pink elephant, you're going to think of a pink elephant. You tell yourself don't feel anxious, you're going to feel anxious. Don't feel stressed, you're going to feel stressed. Don't worry about the bills, you're going to worry about the bills. Don't crash into that pole. I absolutely crashed into that pole. And now that we understand this mechanism, we can reverse it. So instead of focusing on what we don't want to happen, we can learn to focus on what we want to happen. And this is where I've come up with my own version of the 80-20 rule. And the reason why I've come up with this is it's okay to think about the worst case scenario some of the time, because thinking about the worst case scenario enables us to prepare, plan, take out insurance, manage contingencies, etc. But the problem with worrying about the worst case scenario all of the time is it keeps us stuck. So for that reason, allow yourself to think of the worst case scenario 20% of the time. For the other 80% of the time, focus on the best case scenario and what you need to do to make it happen. What can you choose to do to increase the likelihood of that best case scenario happening? So the 80-20 rule, when applied, is simply these 3 questions. The first question is, what are your worst case scenarios? The second question is, what are your best case scenarios, which are the opposite of your worst case scenarios? And then the third question is, what can you do to make the best case scenario happen or increase the likelihood of your best case scenarios happening? So we'll leave you a couple of minutes to reflect and to write down and problem solve. What are your worst case scenarios? What are your best case scenarios, the opposite of your worst case scenarios? And what can you do, what action can you take to make the best case scenario happen or at least increase the likelihood of it happening?
Right,
Yeah.
best case, worst case scenario based on the initial issue that you identified.
It could be based on the initial issue that you identified. It could be any scenario which keeps you stuck, which gives you anxiety or stress. Though it definitely can be the previous one as well. And again, the worst case scenario could be the fear of the worst case scenario, which is preventing you from achieving your goals. And it could be starting a business, career progression, improving relationships, improving your health, your wealth, finances. And it starts with number 1, your worst case scenario. A problem well defined is a problem half solved. So this is a great problem solving frame technique, which you can apply in this workshop or outside. Whenever you come across a scenario where you're feeling very stressed and worried and anxious, ask yourself and really spell it out. And sometimes we really have to lift the sheet off the cover and show the pink elephant. What are the worst case scenarios? What are the best case scenarios? And what can we do to make the best case scenario happen? And so when we set goals for ourselves, it's like climbing a massive mountain. Starting a business or trying to achieve our career goals, it could take days, weeks, or even months to get to the top, to the summit. And so every night we need to pitch our tent. And so the question is, do we pitch our tent so that the flaps are facing up the mountain or down the mountain? So put your hand up if you would pitch your tent when you open it facing up the mountain. And how many will pitch your tent facing down the mountain? So pitching your tent facing up the mountain is quite natural for us to do because we want to see where we're going. Yeah? But the problem with pitching our tent facing up the mountain is we see how far we have to go. And that can give us overwhelm. It can look like a mountain too high to climb. Instead, what we can do is allow ourselves to pitch our tent so that it faces down the mountain, so that every morning when we wake up, we can see how far we've come. The challenges, the obstacles we were able to manage and take care of, and feel proud of our accomplishments, and enjoy the view. One of my clients, he was sent to Silicon Valley to give a presentation on behalf of his company. And he was telling me, he was feeling so anxious. And I reminded him, enjoy the view. When you're standing on stage, you've made it. And just enjoy the view and soak it in. And then present. And so this is how you release anxiety. This is the process to release anxiety. So to understand it, often we're in the past we're in the past and facing the future. I'll switch it around because in this presentation I've been referring to this part of the stage as the past and that the future. So ignore the diagram for now. So pretend this is the past and that's the future. So often we're in the past or present and we're looking towards the future. And because we don't know what's going to happen, that gives us anxiety because there's so many variables, right? Whilst if we allow ourselves to float after the event and look back towards now, that often switches off the anxiety. So let me give an example. So once I went to the Philippines with a group of friends, and one of them has a bit of OCD. She spent months packing her suitcase. She had planned for every day, every activity. This was what she was going to wear. This was what she was going to be dressed in. But the airline, we went via Hong Kong. The airline left our luggage in Hong Kong. And we arrived in Manila with no luggage. And my friend was freaking out. She was saying, F this, F that, F an airline, F an baggage handlers, F an airport. And I told her, oh, how about you swap the word, the common F word with fornicating? Because it just sounds funnier. So fornicating this, fornicating that. And what's funny is now we're all grown up now and we all have, we're all married and have kids of our own. And we still catch up. And when we talk about this instance and we look back at it, even she sees the funny side of the story. Yeah? Another example. So I once helped this lady who had panic attacks, which was so severe that there'll be days where she'd call her manager and say she couldn't go to work. She was just stuck in bed. And so after clearing a limiting belief that she wasn't strong enough, and to replace it with a new empowering belief that she was strong enough, I then delved into what was the trigger. And so for whatever reason, whenever she had an intrusive thought, whenever she imagined her two young girls becoming victims of pedophiles, she would have a panic attack. And so that was her pink elephant. And so she was quite stuck on this activity, so I had to guide her. And so what is the opposite of dangerous situations for her daughters? The opposite of danger is safety. So I got her to go way out into the future and visualize and imagine her daughters all grown up. She's now an old, wrinkly lady, and her two young girls have grown up to be strong, confident women who are safe. And that they have children of their own, and her grandchildren know that they can always go to grandma to share, to raise any problems, because they feel safe as well. And I got her to imagine all her children, her two girls being, married to, good men, and they have loving relationships, and they live all close to each other, and they're out in a picnic, enjoying a barbecue, and the sky is blue, and the birds are tweeting, and everyone is safe. And as I got her to visualize this, she broke down crying. Tears of relief. She even said, and I wish I had recorded this, she said, "Now I know why you charge so much." What was interesting was after that, when I caught up a few weeks after that with her over lunch, she said that she stopped having panic attacks after that. Anytime she felt one on, she just had to bring that picture again in her mind, and her panic attack would disappear. So the process is simply this. So we're often in the past or present and looking towards the future. What we want to do is to float after that event and look back towards now. So instead of being here and looking into the future, we either allow ourselves to see the best case scenario happen and look back towards now, or even see the worst case scenario happen and then look back towards now and see how we've been able to overcome it, to grow and learn and grow stronger from it. How many of you would like to learn this process right now? Yeah? Or just take a sip of water. As Emma from before said, be coached by Roy, it's great. Okay. So I'd like all of you to put down your pens and paper and put everything down and allow yourself to completely relax. I might even turn off the light. There you go. So I'd like you to start by closing your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out and close your eyes and now allow yourself to float way up high above your body. Float way up high above your body and float higher and higher, higher and higher. And float way up high above this building, way up high into the night sky. Floating higher and higher, gently like you're in a hot air balloon. Floating way up high above the soft fluffy clouds. Floating way up high into space. And I'd like you to notice in space there's nothing. There's no pressure, there's no gravity, there's no friction, there's no temperature. There's nothing. There's no colors. There's emptiness. In space, the only thing you notice are the twinkling stars all around you. And I'd like you to notice the twinkling stars all around you disappearing one at a time until you have a clear, blank canvas. You're surrounded by peace, calm, and quiet. And now I'd like you to float way up into the future, way out into the future after that event that you were most anxious about, that scenario, that worst case scenario that you were most anxious about. And allow yourself to float after that event, a few minutes after that event, a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, a few months, even a few years, and look back towards now. And allow yourself to see the best case scenario happening. The best case scenario has happened, and you can look back towards now. And if you're struggling to see the best case scenario, allow yourself to see the worst case scenario happening, but also see how you've been able to overcome that, how you were able to learn from it, to gain wisdom, to become stronger, and ultimately achieve your goals. And see yourself at the top of the mountain, and you're looking down at the mountain, and enjoy the view. And when you look down at all the obstacles that you have overcome, feel proud of what you've done. Feel proud of your accomplishments. and notice that you had all the resources you needed to succeed. And all you had to do was to activate them, to activate your resources and to align them to your goals. And take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. And drifting way down, relax now. Just allow your entire body to rest and relax. And as you go even deeper down, all distractions just seem to disappear. And I want you to concentrate on your breathing. Breathing in pure relaxation and exhaling all the tension in the body. Feel all the tension leaving the chest area as you exhale. Feel yourself relaxing even deeper with each and every breath. Your breathing is so regular, so easy and effortless, and you are relaxing more and more. And your breathing is so regular, and your entire body is completely and totally relaxing as you drift even deeper down with each and every breath. And you feel a warm, wonderful sense of relaxation and going even deeper down. And you may have noticed that some areas of the body are more easy to relax. And concentrating on the areas of the body that you find to be the most comfortable, very relaxed, and concentrating on these areas now, you are recognizing and realizing what there is about those areas that make you so comfortable and so very relaxed. And feeling all the sensations in those areas, the most relaxed and comfortable parts of your body, and allowing and feeling the comforting sensations of the most relaxed areas of the body begin to spread. And as this marvelous, warm, wonderful feeling of relaxation spreads to other parts of the body, the feeling of relaxation becomes stronger. And the relaxation spreads out beyond those areas and continuing to spread to all the parts of the body you desire to relax deeper and even deeper. Picture and imagine the relaxation spreading like the rays of sun, gently warming and relaxing like the rings of water spreading from a pebble tossed into a gentle pond. And the relaxation spreading to every muscle, cell, fiber, and bone in your body. And you are enjoying this tranquil and peaceful relaxation in every part of your body. And with every passing moment, this feeling of deep, tranquil, and comforting relaxation becomes stronger. And every cell, nerve, and part of your body knows and enjoys this wonderful sensation. And this wonderful feeling now goes out beyond the physical confines on your body, spreading out beyond the skin to form a protective shield around you. And you can let this feeling spread far, far beyond your physical body, or keep it close, like a second skin. And since this protective bubble or shield is your own creation, you can do with it what you wish. You can use this shield in any way you want to. And the uses of this shield are limitless. It can act as a filter to filter out those feelings or things going on around you, and filtering situations that are uncomfortable, and allowing you to let in those feelings you wish to let in and experience. And it can act as an amplifier to help you understand people and to help people understand you. And this protective bubble can be invisible or visible to a few people or as many people as you want it to be. And you are using this protective shield any way you choose to use it. And that is okay, because this shield is your own creation, and you are using this shield and enjoying comfort in every part of your body, practicing and using this shield and allowing it to spread and allowing it to go beyond the confines of your physical body. And you can experiment with it, making it as large as you like, using it as a transport to another place or time. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And realizing now that when I awaken you, you can return to this place of peace, tranquility, and deep relaxation, and use this shield anytime you desire to do so. And you are using this shield and feeling the relaxation spreading to all the parts of your body. In a moment, I'll be counting backwards from 10 to 1, and I would like you to awaken 1/10 of the way until we get to 0, until you are fully awake. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You can open your eyes and come back to the present. How are you feeling?
Relax.
Relax? Good? Anyone not feeling relaxed? Too relaxed.
Too relaxed. Clear mind, actually.
Very good.
No thoughts.
That's what we want. Clear mind, feeling relaxed. How many of you ever done sales? So imagine if you felt this relaxed when you went out doing sales. Imagine you had this protective shield around you. Yeah? Or going for a job interview, or doing an exam, or dealing with an angry relative. Yeah?
Relax and calm.
Very good. And so everything I've shared to you, they're exercises. And the more you do them, the stronger you become. And so if you scan this QR code, there's a link to this meditation I just took you through. So you can practice this meditation as many times as you want, anywhere you want to. So when it comes to long-lasting transformation, I'd like you to understand that a lot of our negative emotions are rooted in the past. When you learn about the Macy's development period, you understand that a lot of the negative emotions are rooted in the past, and it's like a massive tree. And the tree has core branches. There's anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt. And underneath it could be limiting beliefs such as, I'm not good enough, I'm an imposter, I have to be perfect, or I can't do this. So these limiting beliefs, negative emotional patterns, the mechanics is different to anxiety. So anxiety is rooted in the future. It comes from worrying about the worst case scenario happening all the time. But when it comes to the core negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, they are rooted in the past. And so the approach to tackle them are different. So this is a process you would go through to release these negative emotions. So often we're in the present looking towards the past. And by changing the perspective, we can free ourselves from these negative emotions. And so from position number 1, from facing the past, I like to go to position number 2, where you're out in space, you have that clear perspective, which is where my approach is different from traditional psychology, counseling, therapy, where often you're told to retell the story. The problem with retelling the story, you end up reliving the event. And when you become highly associated with the memory, you become highly emotional. And when we increase emotions, we decrease intelligence. When we increase emotions, we decrease intelligence. The opposite is also true. If we decrease emotions, we can increase intelligence. And that's what position number 2 is about floating way up high above this event and looking down at the core event from a robust third person's perspective, without the emotions, with the higher intelligence, and to change the meaning behind the story. By changing the meaning behind the story, we can let go of those emotions and be free. And then I like to take my clients to position number 3, where we're before the event and the chain of events that led to that event. So a great example of this is children. So when you come across a baby or a toddler, all you notice is they naturally have confidence. They naturally have a sense of curiosity. They have a sense of adventure. They break things. They don't care. They just want to have fun and connect with others. And the problem is, as we get older, we start taking on other people's limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns, and we lose that natural state of confidence. And so for me, it's not about fake it until you make it. It's about getting rid of all that shit, all that stuff which doesn't belong to you, to reconnect with your natural confidence, your authentic confidence within your inner child. And only when we're confident that those limiting beliefs and negative emotions are gone, then we go into the event. More to test. And I like to tell my clients that I'm a housekeeper. I'm here to clear any speck of dust and dirt which doesn't belong in our unconscious mind. So imagine our unconscious mind is like a living room. And if someone came into your living room and dumped a lot of junk in your living room, not only would you chuck them out, you'd chuck out the junk as well. But often the person has gone, but the junk is still there. So we want to clear that as well. So here's some more testimonials about clients who I've taken through this process. I'll just go through it really quickly. Tanya, she had insomnia for 3 years. And after helping her to clear all this, she no longer had trouble sleeping. She no longer needed to take sleeping medication. And she works as a night shift nurse. Ray, again, helped her to heal a lot from her past. Nave, she had seen 13 psychologists before me and done numerous CBT sessions. And this was the first time she noticed a huge change in her negative thinking. And she realized that in her previous sessions, all she was doing was talking about the problem instead of finding solutions to release and let go. So, as she says, highly recommend anyone with a long history of anxiety and need to get to the root cause. Again, lots of great words from Omar. Maxine is the former director of Spark Festival and now the advisor of Spark Festival. So understanding her past helped her to understand her relationship with money and where it came from and be able to shift and let that go. And with Sai, he's a very smart guy. And then when I took him to the hypnotherapy process, afterwards he said, it didn't work for me. And but afterwards he'll say to me, Roy, every night I feel like I have to go for a walk. And if I don't go for my walk, I'm missing something. And yeah, he lost 10 kilos from clearing the mind. Cool. And so with a lot of what I've touched upon today are actually topics within the broader body of knowledge of neurolinguistic programming. So I won't go through it, but I've touched upon some of the topics highlighted in yellow, which a practitioner would learn. And then I haven't touched about any of the master practitioner learnings, but I myself practice the techniques when it comes to public speaking. So highly recommend for those who are curious, who are lifelong learners who want to increase their emotional intelligence. I might actually share a quick story on this. So before I learned all this, I found I was stuck in my career and I was as smart as anyone else in the room when it came to meetings and the facts and figures, but I couldn't get to the next level because I wasn't good at reading and influencing people. And I noticed my manager, he was only a few years older than me, but I saw him soaring up the corporate ladder. He's now a chief general manager of a very large company. And he was really good at the human side of things, but he couldn't teach me, and because he just did it naturally. And then I had a new manager who came along, and he actually sat me down and told me that I couldn't learn this skill, and it was a really important skill to master because he wanted to run a lot of offshoring projects, which requires a high level of sensitivity. And he said, Roy, you're smart, but you can't learn this, and there's no course that I can send you to learn this. And then he told me, Roy, either find another team to work for or be performance managed out of the team. And so fortunately, because of my life experience, I have a high level of resilience. So I was able to find another job elsewhere where I got paid more, a bigger title, and I had a manager who loved everything that I did. But I still had this limiting belief that I couldn't learn this skill. And because of this, I've reached my peak. And so it was okay. I'll be working, running projects which I enjoy doing. And I'll be like in cruise control. But I never really pushed myself to the next level until I took these courses myself and started applying it to myself. And then I noticed a huge change in terms of how I was able to influence people at work. I was able to get a lot of commendations from the executives on the work that I was able to produce. And I kind of overshot because when I studied all this, it was really just for my own personal development. I had no intention of becoming a coach. But then all my classmates kept telling me, Roy, you're really good at helping people with this. And after I helped Tanya, the lady with insomnia, and other people with panic attacks, I had a Spider-Man moment. You know Spider-Man? Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. If I didn't use this superpower to help other people, it would be a waste. And that's why I'm really passionate about helping people and teaching and educating and coaching people so that they can achieve their full potential. The next event I'm running is Executive to Entrepreneur Business Networking Masterclass. So it's on Thursday, the 4th of December, 5:30 to 8:30 at 852 Hong Kong restaurant, Newtown. The good thing about doing it in a restaurant is you can eat and drink. You're probably all hungry now, I can imagine. And we have more time to understand ourselves, to network, and to learn sales mastery through authentic influence in goal setting and business planning for 2026. And so even if you're not running a business, it's important to learn to treat yourself like a business, to learn to promote yourself like a business, to invest in yourself like a business, to take calculated risks like a business, and ultimately grow yourself as a business. And so by attending, you learn practical strategies which you can apply immediately, similar to the strategies we learned today. I hope you continue to apply them outside of this workshop. You get to network with very driven professionals and founders and be led by me, expert in business growth, strategies, and mindset. And here's what a few of my clients say when it comes to why you'd probably want to learn from me.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Chu. I'm the founder of TDQS, Tax Depreciation Quantity Surveyors. Working with Roy has been a game changer for our business. In just 3 months, he helped us double our turnover with his strategy insights, an extensive network in sales, marketing, recruitment, and more. His approach is both innovative and practical, allowing us to implement changes quickly and see immediate results. Roy not only provided us with a solid strategy, but also connected us with key players, opening doors that previously couldn't access. His connection in sales and marketing is unparalleled, and his ability to identify and capitalize on opportunities is remarkable. We are incredibly grateful for Roy's dedication and support. His impact on our business has profound, and we look forward to continued success with his ongoing guidance. If you're looking for a business coach who can deliver tangible results and truly transform your business, look no further than Roy Kwan.
So Patrick was working in corporate and then started his own business. And in the first year of getting coaching with me, he was able to earn double what he was earning in his corporate job through his business. And here's Cheston.
Being made redundant was not easy. I was a new father, new partner. We just recently got married. My whole career and what I thought I'd been building up came to an abrupt halt. I was clouded by dark clouds and had some seriously bad thoughts about what to do next. I wasn't confident. I was in a very bad place. That job meant so much to me, and everything I'd done through a very, very tough period of time, it just felt wrong. Meeting Roy, I was introduced to him through a friend of mine, and Roy helped me build my confidence again, helped me look through the darkness and find light and appreciate everything that happened to me in my past. And I reflect on that quite often, that without those hard times, you can't enjoy the good times, and you don't always appreciate what you're learning at those times. Roy helped me focus on my strengths and gave me the confidence to work together with a very strong team that we've got today to build the brand Blackwood. I now feel like corporate life is so behind me. While owning your own business is not easy at all, but you learn so much. And I've now got the confidence that in time, we can build something that's ours and that we can really make a success. Blackwood now supplies, one of the main suppliers to a retailer in Fiji. We supply menswear. They've got 5 stores. We supply 52 customers in Australia, and we're going to be targeting New Zealand, going online. And our opportunity for growth is as far as we take it. We're a humble group of people. I want to stay humble. I want to focus on what means the most to me in my life, and that's what Roy has helped me understand too. I've been coached in a way that's allowed me to appreciate things more and really understand how values are so important, and probably something I've never actually realized how important it is to me in my past. And now I'm looking in the future, I reflect on my values daily. And all I want is an abundance of time. I want enough money to financially be free, and I want to be able to do the things and enjoy my life with my family, but at the same time have fun with a successful business that provides that type of life for my family. I want to keep learning. I want to keep learning from people that we engage with. I want to do it in a way that doesn't bring out the worst in me, because I used to be so stressed in corporate life, I forgot how to have fun and focus on being happy. And Roy is helping me and continues to help me on bringing happiness into everything that we do. That's the truth, man. That doesn't roll off a tongue if it's lies. This is not easy, but it's so much fun. And to be able to go to the UK and work from there and see customers and go to Fiji and surf cloud break and be able to see customers and it's work, but at the same time we're all having fun. To go down to Cronulla and be involved in a shoot and to be all-rounded like that with myself and Rod is something that we can't put value to. It's like it's really cool to be able to do all of that.
I'm glad I kept the camera rolling to capture this additional feedback. And you all have the resources you need to succeed. All you need to do is to activate them. And that's why mindset is so important. And when I first met Chesson, he was made redundant. And so I asked him, what did he want to do? What were his goals? And his goal was to start his own clothing label. And I said, excellent, let's do that. How much do you want to make in the first 6 months? He said 300K. In the first 6 months, he did 400K. In the first year of launching his label, he did over $1 million in sales. And that's why sales and goal setting is so important. And I am proud to be wearing his blazer, his shirt, and jeans today. Proudly provided by Blackwood Apparel. And one last one.
Hi, my name's Daniel Aitchison. I own a marketing agency called Create and Boom. We've been running for about 4 years now, primarily as a part-time business on the side. And this year I took the plunge to transform this business into a company, working in it full-time, employing staff and setting bigger goals specifically to reach a revenue of $1 million. Roy has been coaching me for the last couple of months, and it's just been an incredible journey with him. He has really allowed me to move out of the operational seat into more the visionary seat where I can sit and have vision, cast vision for the business and start to draw out a growth plan for where I want to go. One thing that is been so amazing about Roy is he's able to align with who I am, align with my vision, align with my weaknesses and my strengths, and create a plan and strategy for me to move forward. He challenges me, challenges my personality, my habits, the way I do things, but then allows me enough room to actually move in the way that I organically and authentically move. And it's been so beneficial to have not just a coach, but an accountability partner challenging me to move away from procrastination and begin to actually grow the business in the way that I want to grow it. Roy allowed me to tap into deeper areas of myself to start to actually process and move through areas that I didn't originally see, but were blockages and preventing me from growing the business, prevented me from seeing myself as worthy and deserving of growth and success. This was a really powerful process, and I'm still in that process with Roy. But part of the challenge in that space is to have a partner or a coach that you trust. And Roy has been nothing but that trusted partner. He's allowed me to genuinely open up and go into those, deeper, darker corners and start to investigate why there are these blockages, what is preventing me from growing, what is preventing me from being successful. And as a result, we've doubled the revenue in the business. I've employed 2 staff. It's been an incredible journey. I can't make up how incredible this process has been with Roy, because the runs are on the board, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So I really thank Roy and his team for all the work that he's done. It's been an incredibly clear, effective process. I've been able to jump in a meeting with him once a week. We're in for 60 minutes to 2 hours, and we're really just hammering the stuff out that we've been working on previously. He'll hold me accountable to tasks that he's set in the weeks prior. And it's been really powerful in moving me forward, but also me being able to see movement and growth quite quickly. It sets the standard for where I'm wanting to go. And now this goal of $1 million is not so far. It's not too far out of reach. So I look forward to continue to working with you, Roy. And thank you again for all the work and all the time.
One of the interesting things I've observed is after I help people to clear their limiting beliefs, they naturally gain confidence. And when they gain confidence, they become very ambitious. So they either want to climb the corporate ladder, or more often than not, start their own businesses. And that's where business strategy is so important. And Daniel's mom is a counselor, and when he described my work as like another level. Let me wrap up with this. If you're an eagle and you're soaring high and you come across another bird, you know for sure that it's another eagle because only eagles fly that high. If you're an eagle and you find yourself surrounded by pigeons, you're flying too low. And that's why I run this mastermind, this masterclass, because I see all my clients as eagles, and I want them to spend time together so that they can all collectively fly at a high level and soar. I look forward to seeing you all at the next event. All right, enjoy your evening and enjoy the rest of Spark Festival.